Hey Hilayans, this is what every critter in Zelda Breath of the Wild is used for, exactly what they do, and the best places to farm them. And yes, there are individual videos for each one of the critters. You can check the links in the description for their videos, or you can check the timestamps for this video. Fairies appear sometimes in grass after being cut, at Great Fairy Fountains, in this little pond at the southeast corner of Lake Hylia, on top of the Deku Tree, and on top of Ebon Mountain by Link's house. However, fairies can only appear if Link is carrying less than 3 fairies in his inventory. So at first, the maximum number of fairies was 11. You go to the Great Fairy Fountain and have Link hold fairies until he has 2 in his inventory, and 4 fairies should appear. Put the fairies back in the inventory and grab the 4 fairies. Now to carry 21 fairies. If Link lets go of fairies, they will fly away because Link is too close to them. But if you drop a bomb, hold the fairies, drop the fairies, and blow the bomb up as soon as possible, the fairies will not fly away. This is a trick you can use to carry 21 fairies. You can watch my video explaining in 1 minute how to do this trick, link in the description.
How to get 21 fairies in your inventory explained in 1 minute. Fairies spawn in fairy fountains here, 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 and here. Grab fairies. Go to another fairy fountain, hold the fairies in your hand. More will appear. Grab those fairies until you have 7. Go to another fairy fountain, hold 5. Grab the fairies that appear. This gets you 11 fairies. Next fairy fountain should answer the big question. Drop a bomb, hold 5 fairies, release them, and blow up the bomb right away. The fairies won't run away. Hold 5 fairies, grab all fairies. This should get you a max 15 fairies. Wait until a blood moon and do this again until you have 17 fairies. Go to your last fairy fountain, drop 5 fairies, drop another 5 fairies, hold 5, and 4 fairies should spawn. Grab all fairies. You now have 21 fairies. Yay!
The problem with this trick is that Link can only drop 10 items at a time. If Link drops an 11th item, the first item dropped will disappear. So you can do this bomb trick only 2 times. So in order to get 21, Link needs to drop 10, hold 5, keep 2 in his inventory, and collect the 4 that appear. Now for holding 999 fairies. There is an item floating glitch that allows Link to drop fairies as liftable objects and not as fairies that fly away. And this is how we do it. Of course, save your game in case you lose some fairies. Turn on your camera rune, then go in your inventory. Have Link carry as many fairies as you need. Then this part is the tricky part. Very quickly leave the inventory, drop the fairies, and go back into the inventory. So you quickly press +A+. Then hold an item and leave the inventory. When you leave the inventory, the glitch should work. So a couple things when doing this part. If you've pressed +A+ and Link is still carrying the fairies in the inventory, then you pressed A too soon or you didn't press A at all. You basically didn't wait long enough after leaving the inventory for Link to drop the fairies. Now if you tried the glitch and the fairies fly away, then you've pressed the second plus after pressing A too late. You have to go right into the inventory very quickly after Link drops the fairies. If you try the glitch and you see the fairies are not in a bunch, quickly grab them before they fly away. So you should basically go +A+, as if A plus is almost at the same time, but plus is still second. If you do this correctly, you will see the fairies are basically stuck together, floating in the air. Now collecting these fairies is a little weird. Link will pick them up like he picks up an object. Then you can drop them. The fairies will be loose, so now you can grab them as normal. Do not throw them. Also, it's better to drop them away from the group of fairies, just in case you keep pressing A, you might pick up another group of fairies by accident. There are a few things to keep in mind when doing this glitch. Be careful where you do the glitch. If you do the glitch on a completely flat ground, the fairies will actually be too high for Link to pick up. You can drop a bomb on top of them which will lower them, but it may knock them far away into the distance. If you don't catch them fast enough, they're gone. You may also try using an amiibo to use a treasure chest to lower them. Shields and weapons won't work, but there is a better solution. If you do the glitch next to a little slope of any sort, you can also use it to elevate Link so he is high enough to pick up the fairies. That to me is the best solution that I found. With that said, there's a chance for the fairies to just float up into the air after doing the glitch. What seems to be the cause of this is if you do the glitch on a higher ground or in water. But I have done the glitch on higher ground and in water, so I'm not 100% sure. So with all that said, try to do the glitch on a flat-ish ground under the fairies, but next to something higher so Link can grab them when you're done. And if the fairies float in the air, reset the game and try another spot. Once you found a good spot, try to stay in that spot and keep doing the glitch there. Now there are two methods to collecting these fairies. So go to a fairy location like the Great Fairy Fountain, the Ku Tree, or the Ebon Mountain, then do the glitch until Link has 7 fairies in his inventory. Also, if you find it easier, like I do, you can do the bomb trick once or twice after the item floating glitch when Link has 17 or less fairies in his inventory. When Link has 7, hold 5. Then leave your inventory so Link is holding them in his arms. Then the wild fairies will appear. You can then collect all the fairies. You can then do this again in other fairy fountains. The only problem with this method is that you have to wait until you can collect more fairies. So you'd have to play the game for some time and regularly visit the fairy locations when you want to collect more. And with that said, the second method allows you to constantly collect as many fairies as you like, but it can take some time. Earlier I mentioned that fairies can also appear from cut grass. So you can go somewhere with a lot of grass. You do the glitch until Link has 0 fairies in his inventory. Then cut grass. Then collect those fairies. Then do the glitch again and cut more grass. Also, don't go too far away or the fairies will disappear, and don't sit at a fire or else the fairies will disappear. When you've cut all the grass you can cut, collect all the fairies, save and reload. And repeat if you want to keep going. So choose which method you like or possibly do both when the opportunity arises. And yes, that means you have to drop tens or hundreds of fairies to make it to 999. The 4 types of butterflies are winterwing, summerwing, thunderwing, and smotherwing butterflies. Please note that they fly away if you get too close, so having stealth will help. Remember to use a Sheikah sensor to help you find them. They all appear between 5 AM and 9 PM, and if you cook them, they need to be cooked with a monster part. First, with winterwing, summerwing, and thunderwing butterflies, you don't need them for anything specific. If you cook them, each one will give you a low-level elemental resistance with a 2.5 minute duration. Winterwing butterflies give you heat resistance, but you can't get level 2 resistance with only winterwing butterflies. Summerwing butterflies will give you cold resistance, but you can't get level 2 cold resistance with only summerwing butterflies. Thunderwing butterflies will give you shock resistance, but you can't get level 3 shock resistance with only thunderwing butterflies. Winterwing butterflies can be bought from Beetle at the Tabantha Bridge and the Gerudo Canyon stable. You buy them with 10 rupees each. You can find them in cold climates, but where I like to farm them is around the Tundra Plateau. I can wear stealth and use speed up and not worry about cold resistance gear. Summerwing butterflies can be bought from Beetle at the Karakara Bazaar, the Tabantha Bridge stable, and the Snowfield stable. All for 10 rupees each. You can find them almost anywhere, but I like to farm them around Salari Hill and Rowan Plain. Thunderwing butterflies can be bought from Beetle at the Lakeside, Riverside, and Tabantha Bridge stable, also for 10 rupees each. They can also be found almost anywhere, but they appear when it's raining. I like to farm them from Thunder Plateau when it's raining. At the same time, I farm winterwing butterflies when it's not. I also farm them around Slurry Hill and Rowan Plain when it's raining, and of course, I farm the summerwing butterflies when it's not. And finally, for smotherwing butterflies is probably why you're watching, you need 24 of them to fully upgrade the flame breaker gear. If you cook them, each one will give you Fireproof with a 2.5 minute duration. Cooking 4 of them with the monster part will get you a level 2 Fireproof. You can buy them from Beetle at the Wetland and the East Akala stables for 10 rupees each. You can also find them in the wild all over Death Mountain. What I like to do is wear 1 flame breaker equipment and 2 stealth equipment. This way, I can get close to the butterflies without them flying away, I don't have to worry about fire, and I can still use speed boost.
First of all, you can cook darners into elixirs. Cold darners give Link heat resistance, warm darners give Link cold resistance, and electric darners give Link shock resistance. You only need to cook 3 darners to get the maximum level resistance. Keep in mind, you do need to cook the darners with the monster part. Each 1 darner cooked will add 2 minutes and 30 seconds to that dish. But if you want to make any dish last for 30 minutes, just add a dragon horn. If you need to know the best way to get dragon horns very quickly, check the card in the corner or the link in the description for that video. And if you want to know the best recipes and dishes in the game, you can check for that link too. Since you don't need darners for any equipment, there is one reason you may need them, and that's for the Little Sister's Big Request side quest. Speak to Jana in the South Akala stable and she'll ask for an amaranth. Then talk to her again. Then talk to her sister Glima, who is a child close by. Then talk to Jana again, and then she'll ask for 1 of each darner for her sister. After you've collected each of the darners, speak to Jana, and then she'll ask you to give the darners to Glima, so speak to Glima again. Then speak to Jana 1 more time, and side quest complete. Now for where to find darners. Remember to use the Sheikah sensor to help you find them. Note that they do fly away if you get too close, so having stealth up will help. They all seem to appear between 4 AM and 9 PM. And also, if you've seen my video on butterflies, it's basically the same locations. Warm darners can be bought from Beetle at Gerudo Canyon Stable, Serene Stable, Rito Stable, and the Snowfield Stable. You can find them almost anywhere, but I like to farm them around Salari Hill and Rawan Plain. Cold darners can be bought from Beetle at the Woodland Stable and the Karakara Bazaar. You can find them in cold climates, but where I like to farm them is around the Rhino Village and the Thunder Plateau. I can wear stealth and use speed boost and not worry about cold resistance gear. And electric darners can be bought from Beetle at the Riverside Stable. They can also be found almost anywhere, but they appear when it's raining. I like to farm them from the Thunder Plateau when it's raining. At the same time, I could farm cold darners when it's not. And also around Salari Hill and Rawan Plain when it's raining. And of course, I can farm warm darners too. When cooking Restless Crickets, you need to cook them with a monster part. 1 cricket adds 20% to a stamina wheel, 2 is for 40%, 3 is for 80%, and 4 crickets to give a full wheel. But of course, it's better to use temporary stamina dish which replenishes Link's stamina 100%.
If you need a video for Endora Shrooms, Endora Carrots, or Tireless Frogs, I have a video for that too. Links in the description. You do need Restless Crickets for one side quest, and that's A Gift for My Beloved. Manny asks you to talk to Primo for him because he's shy. After she tells you that she likes crickets, Manny asks you to get 10 crickets for him to give to her. After you give him 10 crickets, he'll give you 100 rupees. Now for where to farm them. You can sometimes find Restless Crickets randomly throughout Hyrule, but they appear also from cutting grass. Having a massive sword would be nice, and having stealth is recommended. If you need them right away because you want to do the quest for Manny, you can go to the crop field just north of Hatino village. Cut the grass there and you should be able to get about 10 crickets. You can always sit again until night to collect more. The next place isn't to me the best place, but it's another great place to farm them, and that's at the Riverside Stable. And lots of grass around the shrine. But to me, the best place to farm them, of course, is in Satori Mountain, or at least in the field east of Satori Mountain. If you cut the grass, there's lots of crickets and also some Hightail lizards if you need them. You can find beetles almost anywhere, and some people like to farm them in Lurlin, but I like to farm them in East Necluda. I like to do it in my own specific, controlled way. Travel to the shrine, turn on the sensor for either one of the beetles. There are 4 areas of trees that I farm for beetles. These 2 ponds, this wetlands, and this marsh. I go to the beetle that the sensor is sensing. Collect all the beetles in the area until the sensor finds one at a different area. Then I change the sensor to another beetle, hoping to stay in the same area. I then collect those beetles and repeat the process for the third beetle. Now I repeat again for the first or second beetle. This might keep me in the same area, but if not, I will go to the next area and do the same thing. Then I do it again in the next area. Lately, I've been staying down in these 2 ponds. You can consider this one area since they're pretty much next to one another. I follow the same process, just going back and forth between the 2 ponds. If the sensor reads a beetle up in the wetlands, I just go to the other pond and a beetle will appear. A few things you may need to know before farming for beetles. They appear between the time 7 PM and 7 AM. They will fly away if you get too close, and they will fly away if you're too loud. So having stealth dishes or equipment will help. Having both at level 3 will not stack. If Link has level 3 stealth, he does not need to crawl or walk slowly, but pressing the run button will cause the beetle to fly away. There's not much to do with beetles except to cook them, but they don't add that much. Rugged rhinos add defense, bladed rhinos add attack, and energetic rhinos add stamina. And because they're critters, you do need to cook them with monster parts. Of the 3 beetles, energetic rhino beetles are the only ones needed to upgrade equipment. You need 15 total to upgrade the Of the Wild gear.
The one side quest where you need sunset fireflies is in Kakariko Village. You have to complete the Find the Fairy Fountain and the Flown the Coop side quest first. Then you can go to Lastly's house at night and she'll ask for 5 sunset fireflies. When you have 5 sunset fireflies, you have to release them in her house, then she'll give you 50 rupees and side quest complete. For cooking, sunset fireflies give Link stealth, but they aren't that useful. You need to cook them with the monster part, and you can only get level 1 even if you cook 4 of them. However, you do need them to upgrade your stealth gear. Each piece of the stealth gear needs 5 sunset fireflies for their second upgrade, and this is probably the gear that I use the most. Now for where to find sunset fireflies. You can almost find them in random places at night, and you have to be sneaky to get them. So you either need stealth boost or crouch and surprise them. The first place I'll show you is in Kakariko. You can go here for the side quest. There are 13 fireflies just around this bridge east of the village by the entrance. You may need to jump and glide around to get them, and if some of them fly away, you can always sit until night again or fast travel again and the ones you've missed should reappear. Next, let's talk about Satori Mountain. When the mountain is glowing, there are a total of 33 fireflies at Rutile Lake. And of course, you can get so much more at Satori Mountain. In the Fairy region, there's a bridge by the Zonai ruins. There are 30 fireflies. But, like Kakariko, you'll have to run and glide to get some of them, and you can travel back or sleep at night again to get the ones that flew away. And west of the Fairy region is Farosh Hills. I used to like going here a lot. There are sneaky river snails, frogs, blue nightshades, and there are a total of 25 sunset fireflies. First, let's talk cooking. You can cook the frogs into elixirs, which means you'd have to cook them with a monster part. Hot-footed frogs give you speed boost, and tireless frogs give you temporary stamina. You can get level 3 speed boost with 4 frogs, and each frog cooked gives the dish 1 minute duration. You can also add a dragon horn to make the dish last 30 minutes. If you want to know the best way to farm horns, check the link in the description. For tireless frogs, each one cooked will give Link 4 hearts and 20% of a temporary stamina wheel. So cooking 4 frogs only allows Link to get 80% of 1 temporary stamina wheel. If you want 2 full temporary stamina wheels, you'd need to cook 5 Endora carrots. If you want to know where to find Endora carrots, you can check the card in the corner or the link in the description. And there's a small reason you may need hot-footed frogs, and that's for a small side quest in Zora's Domain. After defeating the Divine Beast, then talk in a Dorfen for the quest to be completed. Talk to Tumbo during the day and he'll ask for 5 hot-footed frogs. He'll then give you an Amaranth. For farming frogs, you should know that you can farm both frogs in the same place, but tireless frogs usually appear only if it's raining. There are some decent specific places to farm them, but there are actually better places than what's shown in an object map. But first, the decent places in the object map, and I'll explain what else you can farm in those locations. If you go to the Horse Ferry, you'll find 10 frogs, but you can also get some butterflies. Another good place is in the water east of Solari Hill. There are some frogs and it's a great place to get some Fleet Lotus seeds. Next, let's take a trip to Varuda. If you drop right to the east of Varuda, you'll find a good spot for some frogs and bright-eyed crabs. Then if you go back to Varuda, go north. There's a little pond with more frogs. Before I show you the place I like to go, there's one place that's interesting. And that of course is Satori Mountain. If you go to the Rutile Lake while the mountain is glowing, there are 20 frogs and literally a whole bunch of other stuff. Now for the place I like to go, it is the Lanero Wetlands. For whatever reason, the object map doesn't show this location, but the frogs keep coming non-stop. If you want tireless frogs, you can sit until it rains. If you feel like you farmed enough frogs, or you feel like the wetlands is running out of frogs, just travel back to the shrine and all the frogs will respawn, and you can farm 4 more.
There's a few things I'd like to mention before we learn the information on each specific lizard. Lizards run away if they hear or see Link. Having at least level 2 stealth will allow you to go up to them at full speed of walking, not running, then grab them. Take a second too long and they'll run away. Also, unlike some other critters who disappear after one hit, lizards can be attacked once. You can run up to them and pick them up. First, we have Hightail lizards. You can cook them in combination with a monster part for a speed boost, but there are better options. Check the card in the corner or the link in the description for my video on making the best recipes in Zelda Breath of the Wild. The main reason you'll need Hightail lizards is to upgrade some gear. The sand and the snow boots each need 10 Hightail lizards for their first upgrades. And each of the climbing's gear needs 5 Hightail lizards for their second. That's a total of 35 Hightail lizards. Hightail lizards can be found all over Hyrule in regular climates. You can cut some grass and they may appear. You can also buy from Beetle at Lakeside Stable and the South Akala Stable.
Thank you!
But there's one place I like to farm them, and that's in the East Nucluda around the 3 Giant Brothers Shrine Quest. I like to stay in the Koto Pond and the Hanu Pond. I turn on the sensor, and if it reads that the lizards are on the other side of any mountains, I go to the other pond and another lizard usually spawns somewhere. Next is Hearty lizards. The only reason to use them is for cooking elixirs. Remember, they need to be cooked with a monster part, and each Hearty lizard cooked will fill Link's hearts to the max and add 4 temporary hearts. If you want to buy Hearty lizards, you can buy them from Beetle at these stables: the Foothill, Gerudo Canyon, Highland, Outskirts, South Akala, and the Woodland Stable. However, the place I would farm them is also at East Nucluda around the 3 Giant Brothers Shrine Quest. I usually farm both Hightail and Hearty lizards at the same time. I target one of them with a Shikit sensor, collect as many as I can, then when I feel like the sensor is bringing me over a mountain, I change the sensor to the other lizard. Then I just do this over and over again. Finally, there is one small place that's great to farm Hightail lizards and Hearty lizards, and you guessed it, and it's Satori Mountain. However, it can only be when the mountain is glowing. If you go to the north side of the mountain when it's glowing, you can find about 20 Hightail lizards and 10 Hearty lizards. And finally, we have Fireproof lizards. You need them for one side quest and to upgrade some gear. The side quest is in the southern mine in the Elden region. Speak to Kima and will ask for 10 Fireproof lizards and he will give you the Flamebreaker armor. Fortunately, there are at least 10 Fireproof lizards around this mine. Just remember to sneak up on them or attack them. And the second reason you will need Fireproof lizards is to upgrade the Flamebreaker gear. Each piece needs 1 lizard for the first upgrade, and each piece needs 3 lizards for the second upgrade. Including the side quests, you need a total of 22 Fireproof lizards. You can also cook Fireproof lizards and it will give Link a Fireproof bonus. You can't get level 2 with only lizards, but you only need level 2 to go on the mountain and in the northern mine. But after getting the Flamebreaker gear, that shouldn't be a problem. And the best place to farm Fireproof lizards, like I mentioned earlier, there are more than 10 lizards in the southern mine. Remember that stealth will help and you can attack them if not, and make sure you check under the rocks too. Basically, they're all over the Elden region and Death Mountain. Make sure you take a picture and target them with your sensor. And lastly, you can buy them from Beetle at the South Akala Stable. That's everything I can find on lizards. I hope this helps, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you want more Zelda content, I hope you consider subscribing or at least checking out the channel. See you next time!